From Zakhm to Shifa, the garden within, cultivating self-worth. Assalamu alaikum, beautiful souls, and welcome to From Zakhm to Shifa, our sacred space where wounds transform into wisdom, where self-doubt blooms into self-discovery, and where the seeds of worth we've always carried inside begin to flourish. I am your sister on this journey, and today we're going to talk about something that lives at the heart of so many of our struggles, the garden of self-worth, and how we sometimes let others become the gardeners of our soul. Have you ever stood before a mirror and struggled to see what the divine sees when looking at you? Have you ever felt like the world has convinced you that you are somehow less? Today, we journey together towards a truth so beautiful, so transformative, that it has the power to heal the deepest wounds of unworthiness. The seeds of worth. Before we were taught to doubt ourselves, before society handed us its measuring stick, before we learned to compare and compete, we were whole, complete, worthy. Think of a garden seed. It doesn't question whether it deserves to grow. It doesn't ask permission to reach for the sun. It simply unfolds according to its nature, carrying within it everything it needs to become what it's meant to be. In the Quran, there is a beautiful verse that says, "We were created in the best of forms. Fi ahsani taqweem." This isn't just about physical form. It speaks to the entirety of our being, our capacity to love, to create, to grow, to transform both ourselves and the world around us. But somewhere along the way, we start collecting voices that tell us otherwise. A parent's criticism, a friend's betrayal, our society's impossible standards. We begin to believe that our worth is something we need to earn, prove, or maintain through constant performance. Let me tell you about Sarah. She came to me once exhausted from trying to be everything to everyone: the perfect daughter, the perfect wife, the perfect mother, the perfect professional. "I feel like I'm always falling short," she said. "Like no matter how much I do, it's never enough." How many of us live in that space? That constant striving, that endless proving, that perpetual feeling of not enough. The weeds of unworthiness. These feelings of unworthiness are like weeds in our inner garden. They might start small, a critical comment here, a dismissive gesture there, but they grow roots, deep and tangled, until they start choking out the flowers of our authentic self. We begin to mistake these weeds for truth. We think they are part of our landscape, that they belong there, that maybe they're even necessary to keep us humble or motivated. But here's what I've learned about weeds of unworthiness. They're not truth, they're stories. Stories we have been told, stories we have absorbed, stories we've started telling ourselves. And just like a garden needs tending, these stories need examining. Which ones are truly yours? Which ones did someone else plant in your soil? Which ones are helping you grow, and which ones are holding you back? Your worth isn't your productivity. It's not in your achievements or your appearance or your ability to please others. Your worth is intrinsic. It's in your very existence, in the unique way you see the world, in the specific combination of gifts and perspective that only you can offer. Tending your inner garden. So how do we begin to tend this inner garden? How do we clear the weeds and nurture the flowers of our authentic self? First, we need to recognize that healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about returning to who we have always been. It's about clearing away what doesn't belong and nurturing what does. Here are some practical tools. 1. Morning reflection. Start each day by acknowledging one thing you appreciate about yourself, not what you have done, but who you are. 2. Boundary setting. Learn to say no to things that drain your energy. Your time and energy are precious resources. Use them wisely. 3. Compassionate self-talk. When you make a mistake, speak to yourself as you would to a dear friend. Would you be as harsh with them as you are with yourself? 4. Truth journaling. Write down the negative thoughts you have about yourself, then challenge them with evidence to the contrary. Remember, this isn't selfish, it's necessary. When we tend to our inner garden, we have more beauty to share with the world. The blooming. As you begin this practice of cultivating self-worth, you might notice something remarkable. When you stop trying to prove your worth, you can finally begin to appreciate yourself. Your relationships become more authentic because you're no longer trying to earn love. Your work becomes more meaningful because you're no longer trying to prove your value. Your choices become clearer because you're listening to your inner wisdom rather than external validation. Think of yourself as a garden in progress. Some parts are in full bloom, some are just budding, and some might need extra care. All of it is perfectly imperfect. All of it is worthy of nurturing. All of it contributes to the unique landscape of who you are. Sharing your bloom. When we begin to recognize and honor our own worth, something magical happens. We become better able to recognize and honor it in others. Our healing becomes a light that helps illuminate the path for others. You don't have to be perfectly healed to help others grow. You don't have to have all the answers to share what you have learned. Sometimes the most powerful thing we can offer is simply the permission to be imperfect, to be in progress, to be exactly where we are in our journey. Beautiful soul, you are a garden in progress. Your worth isn't something you need to prove. It's something you need to remember. Your growth isn't something you need to force. It's something you need to allow. I would like to end today's episode by asking, if you could write a letter to your younger self about their self-worth and value, what would you say? What seeds of truth do you wish someone had planted in your heart earlier? And how can you plant those seeds for someone else who might need them now? This is from Zakhm to Shifa. Until we meet again, may you tend to your inner garden with gentleness, knowing that every flower blooms in its own perfect time. Until next time, Barakallahu fi, wassalamu alaikum.